Before you see the fire and the rage of today, you need to understand the paradise that was lost. This was Iran, a nation with 2,500 years of history, confidently building a modern future. This wasn't a dream, it was reality. Today, Iran is a powder keg. A revolution is consuming the nation. The government has reportedly killed over 12,000 of its own people. And the United States is moving warships into position, threatening an attack that could ignite the entire Middle East. This leaves us with the most important question of our time. How did a nation of progress, pride, and freedom fall so far, so fast? How was its future stolen? My name is Simon. On this channel, I investigate the hidden stories behind world events. And today is a special investigation. The story of Iran's fall is a story that is changing our world, and its most critical, secret chapters were written right here in Germany. To understand the anger of today, you must first understand the memory of yesterday. In the 1960s and 70s, under Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, Iran was experiencing a white revolution. This wasn't a violent uprising, it was a state-led rapid modernization. The literacy rate jumped from 15% to over 50%. Women were among the most liberated in the entire Middle East, serving as judges and cabinet ministers. The economy was booming, and on the world stage, Iran was a respected power, a key ally of the United States and Europe. But this progress came at a cost. The Shah's rule was absolute. There was no democracy, and his secret police, the Savak, were notoriously brutal. The tension beneath the surface erupted in, of all places, Berlin. When the Shah visited in 1967, German students protested his dictatorial rule. The violent police crackdown, which resulted in the death of a German student, exposed the dark side of this golden age to the world. It showed that even in paradise, a deep discontent was brewing. By the late 1970s, this discontent exploded. Millions of Iranians marched in the streets. But this was not one movement, it was many. There were students who wanted democracy. There were merchants who disliked the Shah's economic policies. And there was a small but brilliantly organized group of religious extremists, led by the exiled Ayatollah Khomeini. This is the most critical, misunderstood moment in modern history. Historians estimate that in 1979, hardcore religious fundamentalists made up less than 15% of the protesters. The vast majority of the Iranian people did not want a theocracy. They wanted freedom. They wanted democracy. They believed Khomeini's promises that the clerics would simply guide the nation, not rule it. It was the Great Deception. Once the Shah was gone, Khomeini's faction moved ruthlessly. They executed their political rivals, rewrote the constitution, and imposed their radical ideology on a population that had just been celebrating its freedom. A country that didn't want this regime was now its prisoner. But how did this isolated, illegitimate government survive? Part of the answer, once again, lies in Germany. While America cut ties, Germany pursued a quiet but massive economic partnership. The policy was change through trade. But the regime never changed. It simply took the billions of euros from German trade and used it to build its security apparatus, fund its proxy wars, and solidify its grip on power. This German economic lifeline gave the Ayatollahs the resources they needed. Which brings us to the fire of January 2026. After 47 years of oppression, a new generation that never knew the Shah and despises the mullahs has risen up. But this is not 1979. There is no illusion. They are not asking for reform. They are burning the symbols of the regime itself. Recent surveys suggest over 70% of Iranians, especially the youth, no longer identify as religious. This is a generation that has access to the memory of their parents' lost freedom through the internet. They see the hypocrisy of a regime whose leaders' children live in luxury in Europe, while they face poverty and violence at home. They are not just fighting for their future, they are fighting to reclaim their stolen past. And the regime knows it's an existential fight. In the last 48 hours, they have implemented a near-total internet blackout, plunging the country into silence to hide their brutal crackdown. This action has triggered an immediate international crisis. The United States has moved a carrier strike group into the Persian Gulf, citing the need to protect regional stability. And in Berlin, the government has finally, after 40 years, officially declared its policy a failure, cutting all ties and siding completely with the protesters. The story of modern Iran is a tragedy in 3 acts. A paradise lost, a revolution stolen, and a new generation now paying in blood to reclaim what was taken from them, pulling the world to the brink as they do. The final question is no longer how this happened. We have the evidence. We have seen the clues from Berlin to Tehran. The only question left is, what happens now that the world can no longer look away? My name is Simon. Thank you for joining this investigation.